Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We are here with Xdefiant, and as you may know, there's been not a lot of information since we got the recent patch, but I was able to dig out some recent tweets from Mark Rubin, and more specifically maybe comments that he replied to. If you haven't checked out Xdefiant Alerts, go check it out on X. He actually follows that page, and he actually replied to a couple of tweets on that page very recently, more so than a day or two ago, and it gives an insight. But look, before we do that, don't forget, hit the sub, hit the like. I would really appreciate if you're a returning viewer or a new viewer, stick around. As I always say, we're vocal in the comments. We have great conversations about what issues are going on in your current game, what good things are going on in your current game, what you want to see next for Xdefiant, and what you think maybe the changes should be. And also, we are going to start doing some live streams where we can all get together, talk everything Xdefiant, try out some new loadouts, and just kick back game and have a bit of fun within that. But look, anyway, enough of that. What we're looking at right now is the information on Xdefiant. So we got a little bit of insight on what's to come for the next patch, and it seems like we were kind of right that it's probably going to come at the beginning of August, especially just before that Rockerfeller map drops. And it's something that I'm excited about. We've had issues with people in the comments on these videos and other videos talk about bullet registration, talk about the kind of, you know, the career stats, talking about kind of how the game felt worse off than it did before season 1 came out, that a lot of the bugs have kind of resurfaced. For example, the grenades that kind of blow up across the map still give you a camera shake. The list really does go on. Not being able to get into games that are new. Essentially, you're getting into pre-run lobby, so are they questioning that the player base is dropping off and it's just the cardboard sweats that are left? But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. We do have the information from Mark Rubin, and he was asked just about what they're going to do with Xdefiant, and he did reply saying, we're going to keep making it better and better, rather than just trying to sell you a new game that may or may not be better than the previous one, which is, we all know, a slight jab at Call of Duty, you know, charging us $80 or euros for the same game over and over again. And then he was asked, getting praised, yet not even an update on fixes for career stats that haven't been updated since season 1 might not be a game breaker, and there's definitely more pressing matters with gameplay to fix, but it doesn't fill me with much hope, just food for thought. Mark did reply then, fix coming, probably next patch, pending test verification. So that's actually giving us insight that we're in the next patch, that's what we're going to get, and we're just waiting on that patch as well. So as I mentioned in the original patch that we got for season 1, that was mainly just the weapons being buffed and some nerfs within there as well, and a little bit on the netcode, but more times than not, it was, when you look at those patch notes, it was for the guns that were just barely ever used or not used at all. They got a buff to keep them up on par with the remaining weapons, so they can actually be used and you can have more of a selection about them. And we did mention in there that they're probably going to leave a lot of the quality of life issues to kind of concentrate on and kind of separate them from having to add them in with the weapons. What they probably thought was, look, we can kind of buff some of the weapons and nerf 1 or 2 of them and just give people a little bit more enjoyment in the game that they currently have. And what we'll do is we can then focus on what the quality of life issues are, and the big quality of life in this game, to keep it around as it is a fast-paced shooter, is genuinely it's hit reg. If your hit reg is off in a game like this, when you feel like you should be killing somebody and they're killing you, or you feel like you got the drop on them but all of a sudden you're dead in a split second, it can be very frustrating because it doesn't feel like you as the player are going to be able to grow within the game, and your skill can be developed. And then your question is it your ability or is it the game messing up on you, and it causes a lot of problems within that. And then you can get down to the netcode, and people need to understand the difference between hit reg and the netcode. It's completely different, but you know, they are going to focus, and they did mention that the netcode is not going to be 100% straight off the bat. It could take up to a year, and they're also just going to see improvements over time with that netcode as well. We're going to gradually see it. It's not just going to be one patch come out and it fixes all. It's not like the one ring to rule all. So it's just something we have to bear with, and I really wanted to kind of also, you know, give it a bit of praise, because I think, you know, in the age of gaming that we're in right now, 99% of games are an absolute shit show to play. It's constantly looking to find the next fad that can bleed people of their money. Now, I'm not a big fan of microtransactions, especially for skins that cost the price that they do cost in Xdefiant, and I've mentioned that before. But like, when you see information coming out about Activision and Call of Duty using AI to kind of generate their bundles, their weapon bundles, after laying off like 19,000 people across the company, it just makes you feel like you want developers to really craft this game the way it should be and have their spin on it, so it feels authentic, it feels fresh. And let's be honest, all of these maps, even the ones that you don't rate as good, are better than nearly all the Call of Duty maps that we've recently got. And even the way they butchered some of the remastered Modern Warfare 2 ones, it's insane. So I think you just need to kind of give it a little bit more praise. The movement, the weapons, everything in the game feels 10 times better and smoother than Call of Duty. You're not looking to kind of have 10,000 attachments and 10,000 different types of skins and whatever's, you know, in the bundles right now that makes it pay to win. You're not going through all of that, and it's not making you feel like your head is scrambled to keep up with anything in Warzone. Let's give it the praise that it deserves. It's simplified what we need in a first-person shooter game. It's done iconic maps already. These are, in my eyes, make me feel like I'm playing maps on the original Call of Duties, which is Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2 and 3, and Black Ops 1 and 2. So like, we haven't had that, and to be honest, and sometimes, you know, less is more. Because if we ask teams like, you know, Xdefiant and Ubisoft to pump out content consistently because we're not happy, that's just because we're used to that now. We've been in a situation where Call of Duty pumps out a new bundle every week, and there's also has to be new DLC every week, or everything gets stale. If you just slow down a little bit, enjoy what's in front of you, and enjoy the game itself, I'm telling you now, you can just, you'll feel a lot better. Because if you're constantly looking for something fresh and new at all times, that means they're going to be rushed. That means also it's not going to be high quality. That means it's just not going to feel like it's a unique source of gaming for you and for the community as a whole. So I think we need to cut it a bit of slack. I do also want to just kind of mark down the fact that, you know, there's a lot of things coming that I feel will give a huge boost to the quality of life. Especially, we already broke down in our past video about how the kind of career stats and their new revamped version of those career stats are going to give kind of the newer players, or maybe even some of the weaker players in Xdefiant, the ability to kind of see what type of weapons do best on what maps, or what kind of, you know, phantoms or cleaners or echelon or the GSK are going to do on certain maps, like which is more preferred by the top type of players. So you don't have to do all that kind of crazy research and looking for that, but I just feel like it does need to be cut a little bit of slack and let them cook, and let them cook good, and they can serve us out something that has got a good bit of meat on it that we can actually see a difference in. And to be honest, when, you know, a studio like Xdefiant and especially Mark Rubin are being quiet for over a week and not any information, they're walking away on things. They obviously are. They've been more vocal than any other studio that I can think of outside of Arrowhead Studios for Helldivers. But look, that's just kind of where my head is at right now. I wanted to give it a bit of praise. I felt like I'm always pointing out the negatives and not really, you know, focusing on the positives. And I think that's just the fatigue of playing Call of Duty and any other game that's been coming out lately that's, you know, free to play or just dog shit right now, because all they want to do is try microtransactions in your face every 2 minutes to keep playing the game. But anyway, guys, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. That is going to be all for me. I know you could be watching anybody else, but you chose this video, and that really does mean a lot. Once again, don't forget, hit a like, hit a sub. If you're new to the channel, stay around and get vocal in the comments. If you're a returning viewer, consider hitting that sub button. I'd love to hear you in the comments and support the channel. But I will catch you on the next one, guys.